And welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and we are back live this Friday evening to talk about that Hall of Fame game, which we did win 27-11. I know it's only an exhibition game. I'm going to give you my thoughts overall. I'm also going to give you my good, bad, and ugly, just like I do during my regular game reviews during the regular season. First off, I want to say, how are all of you doing out there tonight? I know we just started. I got a couple of you already in here. I see Sandy B in here. How are you? Thank you for coming, and I appreciate that. Let's see. She says, wow, what a great game yesterday. Pretty good overall. I do have some critiques. I'll get to those in a minute, of course. I also want to talk a little bit about the poll of the week that I put out this week, of course, as well as the Raiders earlier before this game launched an actual depth chart for the team, which is kind of interesting. I want to cover that briefly. I'm not going to put a whole lot of weight into it because we're still early on in the process. Of course, we still have 3 more cut downs, including getting down to 53 men on August 30th with our regular season rosters. Woohoo. Sandy B says woohoo also. Yes, woohoo as well. But we did win. I'll get to that in a minute. I'll give you my thoughts as well. But if you are new here, this is the first thing we like to do. Let's see. It's what I do, what I call the rundown here. These are my topics. So if you're right now live, I see a couple more filing in here. Well, how are you guys doing? Put your comments in the chat. We'll get to those as we talk, or we'll get to the Q&A section right here where you can ask specific questions about the game or about the Raiders in general, even the NFL. We'll talk about that as well. So these are the topics we're going to be covering. And the first thing I want to talk about, of course,
I hear everyone say, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Just keep it fresh in our minds. The champion count. I know it's been a little bit slow. This definitely needs to pick up. TikTok has been improving. I'm not broadcasting with TikTok right now. I'm going to save that for the regular season, especially the halftime reports. I think that's a lot more advantageous there as far as live streaming goes. Talking with you here, I think YouTube is much better, but we are growing there as well, and I appreciate you. And of course, go back over there as well when we do TikTok lives as well. So go ahead and follow me there. I am at Raider_champion there in TikTok. Now, as far as the poll of the week, of course, this is going to be related to the Hall of Fame game. I wanted to ask you guys what you were looking for the most in this game. And I put fundamentals, I put defense, roster battles, and just football. You guys had defense, almost a third of the vote here. You wanted to see how the defense was. And then roster battles and football and fundamentals. Personally, I wanted to see the fundamentals. I wanted to see some solid tackling. I put low to no penalties and no turnovers. We actually got that for the most part. There were a couple missed tackles a little bit later on in the game, but especially the first half, very solid. Couple penalties, couple questionable penalties I'm going to talk about in just a minute. Yes, if you are enjoying this, hit the like button and subscribe, especially if you're watching this on the replay. Might as well be here with us on these live streams, and we can talk about it and chat and interact. That's what this is all about. So personally, I wanted to get the fundamentals going, and I think we did a pretty good job with that overall. I didn't do my full normal grading and my keys to the game, which I do during the regular season, because frankly, this is an exhibition. not a whole lot of the starters played. Of course, Derek Carr didn't play. Trevor Lawrence didn't play. We weren't going to see that. We did see Josh Jacobs. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But overall, good. And I also wanted to see these roster battles and wanted to see some players standing out. And we did that, and I'm going to talk about that in this channel is for Raider fans. It is for Raider fans, but if Casey Hefe wants to step in and talk, he can as well. We welcome that as well. So I just wanted to first, before we get into the game review, I want to keep you abreast of what's happening as far as the injuries go, any kind of word that we're getting thus far in training camp. And of course, the PUP list, it has not changed. And remember, by the 23rd, when we do that second to last cut down, these guys have to get off the PUP or they're going to miss the first 4 regular season games. So I'll get into this in a minute. Once we get to the depth chart that was released, there's some things I might be correlating to this PUP list. I'll give that as a little bit of a teaser. Now, as far as there's a couple players that haven't practiced a couple days, that was Cleve Farrell and Chandler Jones. Cleve Farrell did play in the game. Chandler did not, obviously. He's more of a star. He's a starter. I didn't expect that. Neither did Max Crosby. I'm not expecting anything significant here. And then on Sunday, a bunch of guys did not practice either, and I didn't see anything with that other than a rest. Now, I do have to report, we have another guy on IR. That's Micah Kaiser. He hurt his leg. They're thinking it's a knee injury. No one's specifying it. He was carted off the field. I believe this was on Monday or Tuesday, and he's going to be out for the year. He's on injured reserve, unfortunately. We're probably going to be looking for more linebackers, to be honest with you. And then the guy I want to talk about the most, Zamir White. I talked last week. He had not had a practice in training camp. He was back this week, and he practiced, and he played in the game. I'm going to get to that specifically. If you did not watch the game, spoiler alert, I was pretty happy about my man Zeus here. All right, next thing I want to talk about before we get into the game review is the Raiders released a very early depth chart. It's kind of unusual, to be honest with you, but they did what they did. I just kind of took screenshots of this. I'm not going to harp too much on it because I don't put a whole lot of stock into this. Of course, they have Leatherwood here at right tackle, Cotton at right guard. We'll talk about the game a little bit. Nothing really stands out to me, to be honest with you, as far as the depth chart on the offensive side, more so on the defensive side. And let's get to that right now. As far as the defensive side, now these guys in the brackets, these guys are the guys on the PUP, right? Physically unable to perform list that we just talked about. Now, it's a little curious to me. Jonathan Hankins, to me, is penciled in as the starting one tech, basically nose type defensive tackle, and Bilal's more of a 3-tech pass rushing type defensive tackle. But they got Hankins way back here, and they got Bilal Nichols. This is like first string, second string, etc. But they got him up here. Same thing with Trayvon Mullen. They got him back here. Why didn't they put these guys up here? Does this mean that maybe Nichols' injury isn't as significant as these two? I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading into it. It looks a little weird to me, to be honest with you. Nothing else on here that really kind of catches my eye, to be honest with you, but it's very interesting. I wanted to cover it just so you could see it. You can go to Raiders.com and take a look at it yourself if you want to look at it a little bit more. Again, I'm not taking a whole lot of stock into that right now. Of course, this is going to bounce around. I want to see what happens. We'll, at the end of the month, 53-man roster, then we'll have something going there. Let's talk now about this game. Right. Pro Football Hall of Fame game happened last night. They had a bit of a rain delay, and it didn't really hurt the Raiders, obviously. If you watch the game, they were pretty solid. A little muddy field, but for a first preseason game, I would say it was pretty impressive overall as far as the fundamentals go. Let's talk about that good, the bad, and the ugly. And I hope YouTube is nice to me. I played about 3 or 4 seconds of that, and I changed the pitch, so they shouldn't get mad at me. You never know, though. Let's talk first about the good. Of course, the running game, and it goes across the board. Josh Jacobs, technically started the game, officially started, was in for a couple of drives. But, I mean, you had Zeus in there. You had Meek Abdullah. I mean, even guys like Austin Walter were tearing it up in the second half. Overall, we could run the ball at will over their second and third stringers. I know they had a few first stringers, kind of like what we did as well. And I'll talk about that in a little bit as far as the ugly goes. And then on the other side of the ball, I thought we did a pretty good job for most of the game. There were a couple plays in the back half of the game where they got some things going in the running game. But overall, they could not run the ball worth a damn in that game. And you could see it. They were in third and long situations. They had to punt a lot, and they actually didn't even score any points in the first half. Again, this is preseason. There's scrubs in, but those are our scrubs too. So it's scrubs versus scrubs. Obviously, who would rather see it this way than them tearing us up, right? As far as running the game, running the ball. So well done on the interior run defense on that. And then I put here strip club. I want to get to some of these pictures first, though. About I just took some screenshots. I can't run film here. I did that during the combine. If you're old school with us, and I got nailed for you know what. I don't even want to say it because they might just come after me again. So I'm just going to give some screenshots. This is my boy Zeus running the ball up the middle. Not only power, he got a key first down on the outside, running into a guy. It was like a 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. But this one was one up the middle. But he has some nice little lateral kind of slash moves too, and can juke the guys like he did here. And then, of course, you know, there was a complaint about Zeus, or concerns about Zeus, more likely, actually, about him. Can he catch the ball, you know, in the backfield screen plays? This is actually a screenplay. Converted the first down. He's looking downfield. I thought he had a very impressive game. Of course, not against the number ones. We'll see how he does as we go. I'll talk about that and what I feel about Josh McDaniels here in a minute. And then the strip club. This is actually a pretty good screenshot. This guy should be in the VIP room of the strip club. This guy needs a game ball. This is Darius Phillips, a backup corner for us. We got in free agency. This guy was stripped the ball here. They initially called it a fumble, and they overturned it. I think they were saying his elbow was down, kind of flipped him upside down. He made another play, I believe, on Laquan Treadwell, actually stripped the ball. We got a turnover there. This guy was all over the field, playing like hell. I hope he makes the team. Awesome effort here. Of course, again, we always got to temper this with preseason, but overall, we looked well on this. Now, as far as the bad, this is kind of a light. I've been a lot harsher with my good and bad and uglies during the regular season. You probably know if you old school guys here. I'm going to say, as far as bad, kind of a light cause is the defensive pressure, and that's a pass rush. I know Malcolm Kuntz made a little noise there, here and there, but overall, not what I would like to see a little bit more. I didn't really see a whole lot, honestly, from Jerry Green and the interior line. Especially with our two main guys out, that could be a cause for concern. Those guys got to get back in there. I didn't see a whole lot of internal upfront pressure at all. Again, just evaluating what I'm seeing in preseason. And then I got to put this in here. It's starting to piss me off. Now, earlier in the game, Keelan Cole and even the rules analyst guy, you know, all these channels have rules analysts, the NBC guy, he said that should have been a 15-yard penalty. The guy, the DB, lowered his head and caused contact and went helmet to helmet. He was down for a minute, but he got back up. He was good, thanks goodness, but no flag. And then later, I believe it was late in the third quarter, it happened the other way around. One of our guys hit their receiver helmet to helmet. They threw the flag, no problem. They got that out real quick. There was one drive where it looked like they were trying. I think they were still shut out at the time. I think they were trying to give Jacksonville a mulligan or something. It was ridiculous. They had that. They had a bullshit PI call, I believe, on Cosby. Basically hand checking, and they do that every play. I thought that was absolute nonsense. The helmet to helmet was legit, but it wasn't both ways. That kind of pissed me off. So. But Cole's all right. No other word on that I've heard from that. And so overall bad, not too bad as far as the team goes, except for of course, this guy right here, Brandon Parker. I've been saying this for a while. I did not understand why this guy was re-signed. They moved him over to the left side. Obviously, Colton Miller did not play, shouldn't play in a game like this. That makes total sense, and I get it. That's fine. So they moved him over, and I thought that's the reason why this guy's here, in case Colton Miller gets hurt. We got a swing guy who can play left tackle. He went up against Trayvon Walker, the first overall pick. Now, I know he's first overall pick, but he's a rookie, and that guy just schooled him, plain old schooled him. And I got some pictures. Again, I can't show video. I get in trouble. Other people can. I don't know why that is, but whatever. This is the first play of the game. Now, this is Brandon Parker losing poorly, very badly on a speed rush. Here comes Walker, and Stidham does get the ball away. Walker actually got a 15-yard penalty, basically clothesline Stidham, hit him in the head. Can't do that on quarterbacks. That's one thing the refs, even with the Raiders, if our quarterback gets hit in the head, they're gonna flag it every single time. So, but it's funny because this actual play was the first play of the game, and Josh McDaniels in an interview today said, they asked him, well, did you do that because of Cliff Branch induction to the Hall of Fame? Al Davis, he said, yeah. He said that first play was scripted to go deep, just like deep ball of the old school Raiders. So, but getting back to Parker, obviously losing on the speed, he's too slow. But not only that, he's losing on the power. Look at this. Again, I can't show video, so I took screenshots. This is where he first gets hit / kind of punched, and you can see he's straight up, his arms up. He's already underneath him. He's already lost right here, and he's back on his heels. And the guy goes swimming underneath, and you can see right here, he's on his heels. He's in trouble. Stidham's going to get nailed right here, and I believe he did get hit here. The best he could do right now is to hold him and get the penalty so our quarterback doesn't get killed. I am so concerned about this guy still being on the team. If Colton Miller gets hurt, we're dead. We're dead, because I don't think Derek Carr is going to last the whole season. This guy is terrible. There were other pictures I could have shown. But he just keeps proving to me that he should not be on the team. I just don't understand why he's still on the team. Now let's get to some of the interviews. I had a couple interviews from Josh McDaniels. Let's see. This one was right after the game, and then he also did one this morning. Not a whole lot with that one. They did talk about Brandon Parker. He kind of sidestepped it, said, yeah, he could do more, kind of the coach speak, but you could tell that was kind of the main cause. Yesterday he was pretty smiley, he's grinning, he said we did pretty well overall, but still some fundamentals. Quarterback got sacked 5 times. A lot of that was Brandon Parker. Not all of it, but a lot of it. He was the biggest problem, obviously, on the offensive line last night. Something he did like, though, we played at a high tempo, and I agree with that. It seemed like we were out there playing like a regular game. I don't know if the delay hurt Jacksonville or what. They seemed a little slow, especially in the run game. Not a whole lot of solid blocking there. I'm not going to necessarily blame the running back. What was his name? Connor. It's not James Conner. It's another guy. I think they drafted him this year, but there wasn't a lot of holes to run through, and our guys were very solid in tackling. Again, in the middle, only getting 2 or 3 yards at most. Very impressive so far. Again, we'll see what happens once we start getting the number ones in there. And of course, running back by committee. I gotta say this, and it's known that he likes to put his starters in the preseason. He did just that with Josh Jacobs for 2 drives, but he used everybody. Of course, it's an evaluation process, but honestly, this is what we're going to see. This is why I keep saying we need Zamir White as our third quarter running back between the tackles. He showed it. He's not afraid to put his head down, get that first down. That's going to help us enormously to control the ball against these high-powered teams like the Chiefs, like the Chargers that we have to play against, the Rams. They've reloaded. They're the defending champions. This is what we need. And I'll just say this, as far as the fantasy standpoint, I would really shy away from Josh Jacobs, to be honest with you. His injury history, and there's going to be a lot of shared, and I'm not seeing. I mean, he's going to get his goal line carries, but it's not going to be as much as a single 3-down back would. I think we're going to distribute it kind of like the New England offense did in the past. And of course, he talked about Zamir White. He was happy he got back on the field, and he was happy with his performance overall. And I am too, not only running the ball, but he could catch the ball. He did have a drop there he probably should have gotten. It was a little bit off target, but still. Overall, I think a great showing by the team and by Zamir White. I'm a little bit concerned about the pass rush, especially on the inside. And the offensive line played pretty well overall, except for Brandon and Parker. I think Andre James did a pretty good job. I know Dylan Parham was in for a little bit at center, and they moved him to guard. They kind of bounced it around. Again, this is more evaluation process, but I think a lot of those sacks, though, once Jacksonville, it was like 20-0, it seemed. They couldn't get anything really going on either side of the ball, to be honest with you, and it seemed like they kind of turned it up. They kind of opened up the playbook. Usually in these preseason games, you run very relatively vanilla offenses, defenses. All of a sudden, Jacksonville's blitzing like crazy, and Josh kind of alluded to it a little bit. You can't really say anything. I mean, they can do it. You're just whining about it, but he kind of said that, we didn't pick up some of the things Jacksonville was doing. Yeah, it's kind of a little dirty pool, but, it's amazing because Chris Collinsworth, at the end of this game, I don't know if you watched it all the way through, he said that the AFC has 13 teams that could go to the Super Bowl out of 16. I don't see it. Maybe 7 or 8. I know we're a lot more highly competitive than the NFC, but Jacksonville is obviously not one of those teams. Now, I'm going to throw it to you guys. I've talked enough. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Let's see. How are you guys doing out there? Yeah, again, this is our social media here where we're at. These are the important dates, of course. Our next game is next Sunday it's at home versus the Vikings. Then we go on the road to Miami, and we have that cut down. I think probably my next live will probably be that Monday after that because I want to evaluate this and plus possible cut downs. We got to go from 90 to 85. I believe only 75 actually made the trip to Canton to play, and a lot of those players didn't suit up. Obviously, Devontae Adams was there, Chandler, Max, Carr was there. None of them played. So, how you guys doing? I see Dominic 5 in here. How you doing? I see you in here as well. So I'm going to get your thoughts. What were your thoughts on this game? I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have watched the game. Personally, if the Raiders weren't in there, I probably wouldn't have watched the game. But, of course, being a Raider fan and wanting to see how they do, I wanted to see it and evaluate their progress. And overall, I'm pretty happy with what I saw overall. Little mute there. I'm pretty happy with what I saw overall from the offense and the defense. Again, preseason, scrubs are in there. I think Jacksonville kind of helped us out a couple times on those third down plays. Looked like their backup, not the guy who scored, the guy before that, I forgot his name, didn't look very accurate downfield, to be honest with you. A lot of throwaways. So I think he helped us out there, but I'm very optimistic. I want to see a little bit more from Darius Phillips. He had a pretty good game. I'm hoping he makes the team, obviously. Good motor, trying to strip and make plays. We definitely need that. Let's see. So where are we weak? The interior pass rush. If you're going to critique that, Brandon Parker, excuse me. We had some drops. Tyron Johnson had some drops. That might cost him a roster spot. Demarcus Robinson, they didn't use a whole lot. I believe he only got one catch. I remember him getting one catch. And it was kind of one of those crossing routes that it was kind of a cross and out and like a first down. that's kind of his bread and butter. I remember him with the Chiefs with all those weapons, and then he would kind of hang out there one-on-one and get those balls. Kind of really broke our back at times too. So I'm hoping that guy's still there. I know Tyron Johnson, a lot of people are excited for him because of that speed he has. But can't catch the ball. He's having problems catching the ball, including that one, that first pass. And there was another play he dropped too. So we'll see. I'm sure he's going to get more opportunities in the Minnesota game. But he's going to have to step it up at some time. I was very impressed with Jarrett Stidham. Didn't know a whole lot about him. I knew he was a New England guy. Pretty solid quarterback room, to be honest with you. I think Carr, like I said, he's a fringe QB1, like I said before. Anywhere from 6 to 14, best quarterback, which is just fine. Definitely arguably in the top 10. With Devontae Adams here, it could be even better. But Stidham looked pretty well sitting in the pocket. Mullins is in for a little bit. Even Chase Garbers looked okay. I don't think he's going to make the team. I think we'll go with 3 quarterbacks. But still, I mean, he could be on the practice squad. And you know, it's not just for us. It's audition. Maybe somebody else will have injury. They'll sign him as a backup. Who knows? So Matthew Pohl's in here. How you doing? Matthew says, can't wait till Fridays now. You have good takes. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I put that all out there. I hope you were here while I was doing it. I didn't see you in chat, but I hope you were here. I know a lot of people are just waiting until I, shut my mouth and get to Q&A to get their questions, to get their comments, which is fine. I'm thinking I'll be, not this Monday, but next Monday, because that's right after the Minnesota game. I could go on next Friday, but I mean, do a preview of what? A bunch of scrubs. I'm not going to do that. I want to talk about what I see during these games. It's part of the evaluation process. Of course, we're going to do game previews during the regular season when they count. I'll be doing those on Friday, and usually I do the reviews on Monday. And then I also come in at halftime, talk about 10 minutes, and I do my good, bad, and ugly, like you saw here from what I've seen during the first half. So do appreciate you coming in here. Thank you very much. And if you are enjoying this, especially if you're watching this on a replay, why not subscribe that way and hit that bell notification, set it to all. That way you'll be notified. Again, it's a little wonky. Like I said, the next game's Sunday the 14th, 10 days from yesterday, right? Yesterday was the 4th. So I'll probably go on the 15th instead of my normal Friday, and I'm just going to kind of play around with that because I'd rather come on and talk about what I saw in the game than what I'm going to speculate, I'm going to think about seeing in the game. It doesn't make any sense to me, especially with these backups. Plus, I want to talk about, because that'll be the day before we have to cut down 5 players. We might already cut down those 5 players by then. Sometimes they do it a little bit early, especially these smaller cut downs that we see here. So it would be I think it would be better to come on that Monday, the 15th next time. So yes, exactly. If you do like this, hit that thumbs up. Thank you, Sandy B. Appreciate that. So this is where we're at. I think overall, a very good first outing. The only true knock is Brandon Parker. We did stall a little bit in the red zone. Again, these are scrubs. We could run the ball pretty much at will for most of the game. We did get pinned in our end for a while there, kind of late in the third quarter. That's how they kind of played field position back and forth. They couldn't get much more, but they ended up finally getting a field goal. If I'm Jacksonville, I'm a little concerned. Not only, I'm not going to say the score 27-11. It's preseason, I get that, but the fundamentals weren't there. We shredded them. I think if Brandon Parker wasn't there and Colton Miller was there, Trevon Walker wouldn't have such an easy time as he did. I saw a lot of stuff about him getting his first sack, and it's preseason and you played against a scrub, he ain't going to get that against Colton Miller. So when we played them in week 9, so I'm not worried about that. I'm probably more worried about the defensive side of the ball, especially if, everybody's saying that, Trevor Lawrence is his second year. He's going to come back and he's going to take a step up, and he's got these new weapons. He's got Christian Kirk and, Marvin Jones. I'm a little more worried about that, especially if we can't generate any interior pass rush, and we're just going to rely on Crosby and Chandler. And, the cornerback room's kind of in flux. Mullen's still on the PUP list. Nate Hobbs, they're moving him to the outside. Did all right. Nothing really great, nothing really bad. Jacksonville's passing game was terrible. And I think a lot of that was because they couldn't run the ball. There were a lot of third and long situations, to be honest with you. So just the first game, overall pretty good. It's going to be very interesting to see how we go the next few games and when Carr's going to come in. Yeah, I said before, I wouldn't be surprised. We wouldn't see Carr until the New England game, the last game here on the 26th. Possible Miami. I'm not buying it, to be honest with you. I think Carr will probably maybe play a quarter here, and that's it. I mean, we need to get some time together, the cohesiveness. I want to see this first team out there and see how they do. Sandy B says, overall, they look good. I thought, yeah, they did. Overall, they look very good. It's always good to win, but I'm not going to take that score too much into account. Oh, yeah, we kicked their ass. We kind of did, but again, they're scrubs. It was a lot of the fundamentals. We didn't cause a lot of penalties. There were a couple legit ones. That PI, like I said, I think that was trash. I believe on Cosby, that crossing. I didn't really see that. The helmet-to-helmet discrepancy, that should have been called both ways, and it wasn't. Again, we could run the ball at will against these guys, even with some backup linemen. So that's a good sign. When do we play Jacksonville again, Sandy? I believe it's week 9. I believe it's week 9, and I think it's late October, November time frame. Which reminds me, we will be doing a schedule review 2.0. We did the 1.0 earlier, where I give my predictions and you guys give your consensus predictions. We'll bring the spreadsheet out. We'll go over game to game. We're going to do that. We'll probably do that the week before the opening week. If we want to change anything, we can do it then. So I actually, I got a few dislikes, and I think it was because I gave us a loss against Jacksonville in Jacksonville week 9. I'm not sure if I want to revisit that or not against these were scrubs, but a lot of people are saying we kind of out-coached them. I think we got a little bit better with the coaching. I think the fundamentals were a lot more sound. They were dropping the ball a lot. They also had that they were going for it on 4th down and another fumbled snap. They didn't fumble it, but they recovered it, but it was a turnover on down. So I think fundamentally speaking, we're a lot more on track, which is a good thing. Again, this is another positive sign from this new regime that they're winners, they're champions, they know what they're doing, and they're going to get the job done. So, of course, wasn't without fault, and of course it shouldn't be. It's a first preseason game. You got a lot of second and third stringers out there. Like I said, the only real issue is Brandon Parker. I do not want to see him on the field again. And I'm sure Jarrett Stidham and Nick Mullins don't want to see him on the field again either, because they probably care about their health. So Matthew says, our line still kind of scares me. I hope they cut Turnstile. Yes, Turnstile. That's what I called him last year. I hope they cut Turnstile, bring in a vet. There's plenty of vets out there, like I said. Another thing I want to talk about that, not to say the rest of the guys did great, but they did pretty well. Nothing glaring overall, but other than Parker. But the other guy I would say I'm a little bit apprehensive of that I saw play out there was Thayer Munford, the 7th round guy. The swing tackle guy I was hoping would take Brandon Parker's job. He looks extremely slow out there, to be honest with you. Again, there's been reports of that. I saw it during that game. It'll be interesting to see him against the Vikings. I'm sure he'll be out there as well. I'm real concerned. Again, we got Leatherwood. Hopefully, it works out. Colton Solid at the left side. But look at the backups. Look what we got. We got Brandon Parker and Munford. I don't know if the game's. He's a rookie. I grant it. And even though this is a scrub game, it's an NFL game. It's going to be a lot quicker. Now, think about this. I know he came from Ohio State, a tough conference, right? Big Ten, right? So, but this is the NFL. So, like the scrubs of the NFL could do well in college. That's the way I say it. Maybe not super duper Heisman stars, but they're better than average college players for sure. And they're bigger, they're older, a lot more grit. Plus, you get a lot more in your frame. For men, once you get into your early to mid 20s, you put a lot more on there. So I'm just worried about his speed. I think he's reacting a little too slow. So I'm not so sure. Maybe that's why he fell to the 7th round. Other teams saw that. So, but that makes us dangerously thin at tackle. So, Bobby Massey's still out there. Mike Remmers. There's a few other ones. If you don't want to get Darrell Williams and pay the big money, there's some serviceable, decent guys out there. I'm not saying those other guys are Pro Bowlers, but from what I saw, I don't know. I'd probably be making a few phone calls right now if I was the Raiders. Okay. All right. We're at 6:36. We got 8 people in here. How are you guys doing? Put your comments in here. I want to hear from you guys. It's not just, this isn't school where I'm just going to give you guys a lecture. I'm going to tell you my take, but I want to hear what you have to say. We can talk. Hey, Lencho, I see you in here. How you doing? Lencho says, can't wait for the regular season. See some trick plays from McDaniels. Have Renfro throw it deep. Well, he does have that ability. I'm a little concerned if you saw the depth chart. I probably didn't go. I didn't go over it during the discussion, but they still have Renfro returning punts. I talked about that. Let me move up a little bit. I talked about that last year. I didn't want that because he's a weapon. He's a viable weapon. This is before he got his 1,000-yard season, went to the Pro Bowl. I don't want him on there getting hurt. We could have drafted a speedy guy to do something like that. We also had Willie Snead last season. We picked him up in free agents. I know we cut him, but I was thinking maybe put him on punt return. It didn't happen. I don't want to see him returning punts anymore, especially since we gave him some money now. He's not on his rookie contract anymore. To me, that doesn't make any sense. And it's going to break up this nice team we have. So let's not sabotage ourselves, right? Dominic says the whole line is still a huge concern for me. Well, again, remember, Colton Miller's going to be on the left side. Okay. Leatherwood didn't do too badly. I'm not going to say he did great. He did all right. I think it's still a work in progress. I'm wondering, Illuminor looked pretty good at guard. I would not be surprised if he's not starting. But again, this is early on. We got a couple more games to go. Just speculating at this point. But the depth on that line, especially at tackle, scares the hell out of me. It just scares the hell out of me. Yeah, Lynch says, yeah, I don't want Redfro returning either, but that's where we got it on the depth chart. So anyway, what else you guys got to say? Oh, Sandy says, why Lynch? Probably for the same reasons I said, Sandy. You don't have a Pro Bowl guy. I mean, I know Tim Brown did it for a while. Not necessarily agreed with that either, but you don't want to damage a great slot receiver, arguably the best slot receiver. Obviously Cooper Kupp's there. So he's at least, I would say he's at least the second best slot receiver. Do you want him getting hurt on a punt return? I don't. Why can't we bring a guy in, a speed guy that has some hands, that can catch a punt and run with the ball? Why can't we bring a guy in for that? I don't know. I don't know. Why not? I'd say why not put Teron Johnson there, but he's having a hard time catching passes, so maybe that wouldn't be a good idea. You know, I like the guy too. I talked about this guy when he was with the Chargers, a speedy guy, and you know, he did not have a great night. I'll just say that. So hopefully he can redeem himself next Sunday. Not this Sunday, next Sunday. Dominic says, really hope Simpson doesn't start, and I still don't understand why Parker was brought back. Simpson's kind of hot and cold with me. There's some games where he's looked like trash, and then I believe it was the Charger game. He looked pretty good there, to be honest with you. I kept watching the game. Oh, yeah, Simpson. That was a nice block. That was a nice play. Oh, yeah. You know, you opened the hole there. That was nice, you know. But, yeah, I don't know. Well, who do you want there? Parnham? Who do you want at left guard then, Dominique? If not Simpson, I think Leatherwood. I'm hoping still right tackle. Illuminor could be right guard. James looked pretty good at center, and even Josh McDaniels said that as well. He mentioned that. So it's either going to be Parnham or Simpson. Oh, who? Alex Bars? I think he's just there for depth, a veteran guy. And then you got Colton. Let's see. Cotton looked good too. They kind of bounce around. I honestly, the line looked pretty good. The only thing that really tripped them up was all those blitzes. Like I said, it looked like, I think it started about the second quarter. I was noticing that it looked like Jacksonville was blitzing like every down. It looked like, this is the way this is my take on it. Jacksonville's team wasn't as prepared to play as the Raiders. That's what it looked like in the beginning. Raiders basically did what they wanted on offense, especially running the ball and screen plays. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't get their running game going. They were 3 and out a lot. Couldn't move the ball worth a damn. The defense was on a lot. And they were kind of looking embarrassed, to be honest with you. I know it's still preseason, but still. And they just started blitzing the hell out of us. You know, 5 guys, 6 guys, like at least 5 guys every play, if not 6. They were bringing guys all over the place. So, yeah, I like Cotton. I like Lester Cotton. He's made a huge jump. I like him. I liked Illuminor. Leatherwood had a pretty good game. Andre James had a very solid game at center. But just Brandon Parker just puts a stain on everything, you know, because he played so poorly. I mean, he got beat with speed moves. He got beat with the bull rush. And it's just, you know, Arden Key slapped him around a little bit too. So, Raider Dangerfield, how you doing? Like I said, I love that name. With the exception of Parker, the O-line didn't look bad. They didn't. Now, again, we got to temper this a little bit, right? This is Jacksonville's backup guys. So I think I know they had some starters like Walker. He's anticipated to start on the right side, but not a whole lot. So it was a little interesting. Things kind of got a little shaky though when Jacksonville started opening the playbook and blitzing like crazy. But that's good for us. Not so much for Stidham and Mullins though. Oh man, poor Stidham. he got beat up in that game. He got clotheslined. He got hit a few times. It was bad. He got hit more than he should have. That's for sure. So I don't know. Again, my only thought when I saw them sign Parker, my thought was, okay, this doesn't make sense, but he can play the left side. So maybe they want a swing guy. If Colton gets hurt, they can put him on the left side. Okay, he started this game on the left side, looked terrible. So, you know, I'm telling you, if we have to have Parker start on our offensive line, either the left side or the right side, Derek Carr will not make the season. He will get hurt. he will get hit and he will get hurt, and we will probably lose any opportunity to win the Super Bowl. We have a chance at it. I feel we have a chance at it right now, depending on how that defense gels. If they can protect Carr, the offense is there. No doubt in my mind, the offense is there. We can run the ball. We can pass the ball. As long as we can protect Carr, offense is golden. It's going to be the defensive side that's going to tell the tale. And I have faith in Patrick Graham. I saw what he did against us, against the Chiefs, on a Giants team that frankly sucked. And that defense, I think I put a stat out there in the offseason a couple months back. I did a live stream or a video where I believe the Giants defense was on the ball the third most in the league. So as far as time of possession the other way. So, and I believe they were the worst as far as starting field position. So they were given the shortest field, on the field more than most teams. And, you know, they were still competitive. I mean, you can only do so much. But with this offense, you know, imagine what that Giants defense could have done with this year's offense if Carr can be protected by that line. That's a contender team right there. Right, Raider Dangerfield said, yeah, but we had our own second and thirds in. Yeah. But yeah, that's how I kind of evaluated. I don't think Jacksonville wasn't as prepared and ready, in my opinion, to play this game as we were. Maybe it was that rain delay, the thunderstorm delay. I don't know. But it looked like we were a lot more crisper out there overall. But yeah, I that's why I say I want to evaluate more so. That's why Parker is a big red flag for me right now. The other guys did pretty well. There were a few drops. I talked about that. Teron Johnson had a couple of drops. Cole had a drop. He got his bell rung. No flag. And even the NBC rules analyst official, the former ref, I forgot his name, McCauley. It's not the index card guy. I think that guy's on CBS. So Terry McCauley, I think it is. He even said, yeah, that should have been called. They should have replayed. The guy went, pfft. It's like, yeah, that should have been called. He led with his helmet, but it is what it is. Yeah, if he gets significant playing time, DC gets hurt. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Either that and or DC's going to get hit. He's going to turn the ball over, fumble it, or get hit and it's going to get intercepted. And all the Carr haters are going to come out with glee and say how Carr sucks so bad. And you know, let me see you get hit by a 280-pound guy and see you not throw an interception or turn the ball over. Come on. So, Raider Dangerfield says, at this point, Parker doesn't look like a starter. He'll have to be a rotational player. Well, that's what he was set up for anyway. He's only on the left side because they weren't going to put Colton Miller out there. He's our guy. Like I said, I think he's a top 5 left tackle in the league, Colton Miller. So why would you put him in this game? That wouldn't make any sense. So I thought at least I wasn't going to say he was going to dominate, but at least be decent. I don't know. Again, I don't know what we're going to do about that. Like I said, we're woefully thin at tackle right now. We're woefully thin. Given his performance, and Thayer Munford looked slow out there, I said before, we're thin. It's trouble. Matthew says, I can't wait to see our starters. Well, yeah. And like I said, I don't think we're going to see our starters until right here, this New England game. Minnesota's probably not going to happen. Maybe Miami. My problem with that, it's like I said, it's going to be hot as hell there in Miami. It's August 20th. You know, it's going to be like 3 degrees cooler than hell. That's about it. If you know anything about Florida, and the last thing you want to do is get cramps, get strains. I don't want my starters playing in this game. It doesn't count. Screw it. They're going to make the team anyway. It's useless. Get them here. We're at home. Get them a quarter in or whatever, and round out this roster. Great to have 12 in chat. Thank you. Thank you, Raider Nation. Thank you. And again, I see you guys coming in. I know a lot of times people come in, they don't get the notifications, but if you are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit that bell, hit all if you are enjoying this, of course. And so you can be here live with us as we start. Now, what I do is I go over the topics, my rundown. If you came in late, I talked about the game, what my good, bad, and ugly, what I thought about that. If you missed it, you can either watch this, I'll leave this up, but I also kind of do a summary video. I kind of edit out all the ums and the uhs, you know, because we're live. I'm just speaking right here, right? Little pauses. Take that out. It's usually about a 5-10 minute video. I put that out there if you want to watch that. My take on what I saw during the game last night. But yeah, if you want to come here live, the big thing is right here. This is why I do this. I want the interaction. I want to see what you guys see. If there's anything I didn't catch that you caught or vice versa, this is what I want to talk about here. Let's see. Raider Dangerfield says, Parker's normally a left tackle, so if he was that bad in his natural position, will he be worse at right tackle? Will he be worse at right tackle? Did you watch the 2021 season, Raider Dangerfield? Because he was at right tackle once they pulled Leatherwood back into guard. And go back and watch the Chicago Bears game, and that will give you all you need to know about Brandon Parker. Let's see. Lencho says, had to step away for a sec. What game are you most looking forward to, champion? Well, regular season, probably against the Rams, to be honest with you. Of course, the division games, all the division games, we're going to win all those. That's a given. The Patriot game, right? Josh McDaniels against his old team. I want to see how we look against the champions. It's going to be a short week. I believe it's the Thursday night game in their house. That's going to tell the tale. Who knows what's going to be happening too. That's later on in the season, but I look forward to that. The Patriot game. What do you got? What are you looking forward to as far as the preseason? Probably the New England one, because I know we'll see the starters a little bit in that game. The other two games, just evaluation. Of course, that Danny is atrocious. Yeah, well, he came out of college at left tackle. Same year Colton Miller did. I believe he was 3rd round pick, and we picked Colton 1st round. So, but I haven't really been impressed with him since he's gotten here, and it's amazing he's still here. I don't get it. He's still here. I don't get it. Hey, Panda Tiber. Hey, salute to you. Salute Raider Nation. What's Panda have to say? Panda says, really think Parker should just play swing tackle and don't start. He's that bad. We hyped him up for a terrible performance. If he starts, we're in trouble. Yeah, we were in trouble last season. Check out that Bears game. That's a game we should have won, to be honest with you. They mauled Derek Carr in that game. It was absolutely disgusting. I even did a game preview with the thumbnail with those guys coming over the wall to come kill Derek Carr. So if I knew that, the coaching staff, the team should know that, and they still did it. Even Keem Hicks, probably half injured, still had a good game as well. Of course, Khalil Mack, he got that one sack. So salute Nation. Lencho says they've been really bad after the bye. Hopefully we're better. Lencho, come to our schedule 2.0. We do a schedule review. We did one before. We're going to do one again right before the season starts. I actually have us. We're playing the Houston Texans, I believe, after the bye. I have us having a W. I had us last year losing to the Giants last year, and people. Oh, I got a bunch of thumbs down on that, and people got pissed off, but look what happened, right? Look what happened. But I think this is a new regime, a new time. I think Houston, they have made some upgrades. Davis Mills isn't terrible, but he's not a great quarterback either. They still have Brandon Cooks, who could burn us. I'm a little concerned about that. They got Damian Pierce, that guy I liked out of college, out of Florida. They drafted him. Who knows? He might be starting by then. So, but I think their defense is still bad. They're not going to be able to stop our offense. So if we don't win that game by double digits, I'd be shocked. Raider Dangerfield says Parker just has to be a full fill-in for the rest period for the starter. Even then, I'd be nervous. Even then, I mean, Usually, they'll be good at one and not the other. Maybe their weakness is a speed move or their weakness is a power move. He looked bad on both. And he's a big man. He got pushed. He got launched. He got underneath his pads. His arms were going up. I even showed it. He looked bad out there. Matthew says they really should consider another bet in cutting Parker. I just don't see it. I didn't see it either. I was hoping Munford would work out. Munford did not look that good when he was in there. It looked very slow. I was hoping he could take that swing tackle spot. I think we're gonna get free agents. Honestly, I think maybe that's why we're keeping that cash on hand. We still got about $20 million under the cap that we can play with. Don't be surprised if, especially, Ndamukong Suh is still out there. Okay, we're still, yeah. Panda just talked about it. That's weird. I just saw that come up. Talked about defensive tackles Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh still out there. Don't be surprised, especially if those guys don't come off the PUP list. I'm wondering because the other DTs, they stopped the run. Not a whole lot of pass rush though. Let's be honest. Let's see. Panda said that. Linval Suh. Matthew says, yes, the interior defense is looking very thin. I wasn't impressed with Butler or Neil Farrell. Nope. The only thing that was decent inside was stopping the run. And then that kind of, Jacksonville started to run the ball a little bit late, like late third, fourth quarter. But other than that, they did a pretty good job. A lot of Kendall Vickers did pretty good. A lot of good wrapping up once they got him. That's it. You ain't going anywhere. I like seeing that. You get 2 yards. You're going 3rd and 8. Love that. Hey, James Melione, how are you doing? DT needs help. Yeah, DT needs help. We need some depth at the offensive tackle position as well. Munford had a soul taken by Aiden Hutchinson. I wouldn't trust him either in college. Talking about Ohio State, Michigan, right? Yeah. Well, remember, Aiden Hutchinson went in the 1st round, right? What, 2nd pick, right? 2nd or 3rd pick. Munford went in the 7th, so. Panda says, yeah, that scared me last night. Even in the practice reports, they say we get no pressure up the middle. Either or, offensive line is that good or we're that bad. I think the interior offensive line looked pretty decent. Like I said, I want to temper that till we see the number ones against number ones, but they did a pretty good job overall. DT, there's no push inside. Kuntz had some moments on the outside on the edge, but overall that needs to improve. So. Brady Dangerfield says, what's your take on Stidham versus Mullins? Stidham's going to get the job. Stidham looked pretty good when he wasn't getting hit because Brandon Parker can't friggin' block. But overall, he looked pretty solid out there. And then he could run the ball. I didn't think they didn't expect that. So I think he's got the inside track on the QB2. Nick Mullins is solid. Right now, he's fighting for a number 2 job. So it's not like, he's going to be the starter, right? So I like our quarterback room overall. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Didn't get much interior pressure. Yes. Left Stidham last night. I prefer him over Mullins. It was just a different vibe. Yeah. And honestly, Panda, maybe, let's say it. He's a New England guy. He knows the system, There's something to be said about that, right? There's something to be said about that. Garbers didn't actually do too bad either. Yeah, I mentioned that as well, Matthew. He didn't do too bad either. Got that touchdown, I think, in the 4th quarter there late. So, I mean, he's a rookie. I don't anticipate him making the team. At best, probably practice squad, like I said, or some other team will pick him up if they need a quarterback. But, like I said, he's a rookie. He did all right. He didn't do bad. But I think the other 2 guys in front of him are better. It's just the way it is. So right now he needs to just use this as basically his audition tape, if to maybe even get a backup gig somewhere else, right? Panda says, how about our pass coverage linebackers, Teon Diablo? They were money. Yeah, they were pretty good. A couple of those, I'm surprised they didn't get flagged on. There was a little bit of contact. I was looking for that. No, all right, cool. But overall, yeah, not bad. Jacksonville, especially those backup quarterbacks, I was not very impressed with them, especially throwing ability. Anything intermediate to deep, it didn't look very good, to be honest with you. So the short passes, though, the linebackers, they did pretty well. Hot take, Raiders trade Jonathan Abram, and keep Bryce Cosby. Who's going to want him, and what are we going to get for him? You know, I know what Chat Sports was talking about. We're going to trade Cleve Farrell for Tevin Jenkins because Jenkins is hurt, and then, well, he's not hurt, and there's some crap going on where he's not happy, or the management isn't happy with him, and you know, he tweeted that don't believe everything you see, everything you read, and all this other nonsense. Did they honestly believe we could get a first-round offensive right tackle for just giving up Cleve Farrell? That's not going to happen. It's just so clickbaity. It's not going to happen, guys. They're trying to build up that offensive. I mean, unless he does something outrageously crazy, they're not going to trade him. They're trying to build around Justin Fields. That offensive line has been terrible. They've been working on it. So don't believe. I'll say like what Tevin says. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. Don't believe all the thumbnails and clickbaity titles that you see from certain content creators. Check Sports. Let's see. Strip club and preseason football is a new take. You watched that, huh? Yeah, we had. Darius, man, he's in the VIP room. He had a hell of a game. I mean, come on, he was stripping like crazy. He was stripping all those Jags down. I'll trade Abram for a 7th. I'm glad to see he's out there. He's had multiple issues with that shoulder. I'm glad he was actually out there playing. So, hey, my life, I'm glad you're in here. Normally we run about an hour. We'll talk a little bit more. We'll kind of close this out, to be honest with you. You guys got any more questions? Put them in there. Again, if you are enjoying the content, give it a thumbs up. Lets me know you're enjoying this. Lets me know this is what you guys want to see. And subscribe. That way you'll be notified. Especially hit that bell notification. I know YouTube's been kind of iffy. Notifying a lot of my subs. I get messages from my subs saying, I didn't even know you were on. You got bell notification on? Yeah, I do. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. YouTube, I have my theories. I think since I'm not at that 1,000 sub mark yet, they don't really care. Once you get there and they can put ads on there and make money off of you, then they care, like the other ones. Until then, you got to scratch and crawl. It sucks, especially not putting content out, but also not informing my subs that I already have. That's a bunch of bullshit, to be honest with you. And then they'll send videos to the creators like, this is how you can improve your videos. How about you promote my stuff to my subscribers? Why don't we start with that? Okay, my rant's over on that. Matt says Chat Sports is trash. A trash show, not going to lie. Well, they're okay. They have a lot of money behind them. They have a lot of production value. But you can only talk so much about certain things, you know, and when they run out of actual content to talk about, what they like to do is just pull out the fireball and just start drinking. Okay, give me $50 and I'll drink a bottle of Fireball for you. It's like, it becomes like a circus act, you know. It's like, you know, I honestly, I don't respect that. I don't respect that. Some of the stuff they put out is okay, and then some of it's really clickbaity, and I've talked about them before. But they get the views. So it's like one of those things. Do you hate the player or do you hate the game? You know, if all these people weren't watching them and giving them $50, $100 to drink Fireball, then they wouldn't do it. So it is what it is. Yeah, appreciate that, Matt. Thank you. Yeah, hit that sub button. It helps me out, helps the channel out and everything. You know, it's the only way I'm gonna get this to grow is through you guys. That's just the truth, honestly. My life says, are the Bears gonna move or what? When will we know this season? They're gonna move from where? From Chicago? Are you talking about moving Tevin Jenkins? They're not gonna move the franchise. I don't see that happen. They're a historic franchise, and if you're talking about moving stadiums, I know they renovated Soldier Field a few years ago. I don't see why they would move that. Maybe you're talking about Tevin Jenkins. I don't see that happening. I think this is a nothing burger on that. Guy plays solid. He gets hurt, but I would have loved to have had him in the first round instead of Alex Leatherwood. We talked about that 2 seasons ago. Thank you, John Gruden and Idiot Mayock, who should go back to the NFL Network. You're trash. Thank you very little setting us back. You know, we wouldn't have to worry about this. We'd have a beast at right tackle right now. You know, now I'm afraid they're going to put Brandon Parker there. Oh my God. Let's see. Hit to the city money wise. What do you think of Abdullah or Austin Walter taking over for Drake? What do you think of the running back room? This is what Panda says. What do you think of the running back room of Jacobs, Abdullah / Walter, White, and Bolden? It's one game. Amir Abdullah looked good. I liked the block and that touchdown play where he was kung fu fighting at the end. I liked Illuminor on that block. If he doesn't make that block, he doesn't get in the end zone. It was smooth sailing. So. He had a good game. Walter had a good game, but keep in mind that was later on. This is second and third stringers. I honestly, Abdullah is more of a third down guy. We could be, I would say there would be a possibility of cutting Drake, but we'd still owe him $8 million because the previous regimes are idiots. So I don't think that's happening, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be Zamir and Josh Jacobs and probably Bolden and Kenyon Drake and maybe one of those other guys. Remember, they're going to keep Jakob Johnson too as the fullback. So that running back room is going to be full. James says Parker is like Dallin Levitt. Just hope he gets cut. You know what? I'm gonna say this. Dallin Levitt was not very good at safety, but he played his ass off, and I wish him the best at Green Bay. I don't think he was good enough to start for us, honestly, but he had a lot of heart. So and a lot of people said the same thing. So I'm not gonna slam him for that. But Parker, I don't know what. I don't know. I don't think there's any hope. Yes, but my life says, is there a time limit or will they play in Chicago? They will play in Chicago this season. I haven't heard anything different on that. Why would they leave Soldier Field? That's iconic. That would be like the Red Sox leaving Fenway Park, Wrigley Field, Lambeau Field with the Packers. That's not going to happen. And like I said, they just renovated about 5 years ago, something like that. Yeah. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The mayor's trying to collapse the city. I'm not going to get into that on Raider Chat. No, the Bears are saying they're leaving Chicago. Sounds legit. No. Okay, my life. Even if they're saying it, they have to get approval from the league, and the other owners have to vote for it. They have to get, 24 out of 32 votes? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Maybe a new stadium. Maybe, but why? You have Soldier Field there. Let's see. Still in negotiations. Turn into Bears chat in here. I like it. I want Tevin Jenkins. We'll give you Cleve Farrell right now for Tevin Jenkins. I'd make that trade, especially what I saw with Munford and Brandon Parker. I'd make that deal right now. Austin Walter looked good out there. He did. Now we have to kind of think about this. So, was it him? Was it our line, or was it that the Jacksonville defense couldn't stop the run? A little bit of all that, honestly, a little bit of all that. So, great on special teams. Couldn't make the angles when starting. Yep. And Panda says, I'm convinced that Parker took steroids. He'd still find a way to get bull rush at 5 sacks by the half. Like I said, Parker is a big man. You know, you would think that he would not get bull rushed. I mean, if anything, it would be a speed guy going around him, like a Ojulari or even Trayvon Walker did before he speed rushed him that first time. Maybe that, but to get bull rushed and overpowered, how the hell does that happen? I don't get that. He was knocked almost off his feet on that play. It was a joke. Probably even worse because he'd have tiny legs. He plays way too high. Yeah, he does play way too high. Just get his ass down a little bit more. He gets stood up and worked. Yeah, he got worked. He got worked, and I don't know. I still don't see him making the 53-man roster. I don't know. Maybe I think they were probably hoping Thayer Munford would work out. I'm not so sure about that. I don't see Parker making the 53-man roster. I see us getting some free agents. That's what I see. But we'll see. Geez, he made Arden Key look like a monster. Well, you know, Panda, Arden Key did not do too badly when he was with San Francisco. Now, given they had a lot of weapons there, that's what kind of made the Solomon Thomas pickup last season was a head scratcher because, you know, they had pretty good defense there, but he didn't look very good at all there, Solomon Thomas. So, like, why the hell are we getting this guy? But he got 5 sacks for us. I can't really complain about that. I still don't think it's worth $5 million, but what's done is done. That old regime's gone. We got people that know what they're doing now. Hallelujah. If Parker pissed on McDaniel's desk, I still don't think he gets cut. James, you got comment of the week. You got comment of the week. You know what? Hang on. There we go. I took my message off. You're pinned comment. Your pinned comment, James. Congratulations. We got to hook that up. So you're immortalized. So anybody watches this, they're gonna see the pinned comment. They go, "What the hell?" That's the first thing they're gonna see when they open up this video, the long video. So Sizzler. Yeah, he's Sizzler. I think he's been to too much Sizzlers. Oh, well done. Oh man, it was fun. Now, you guys got any more questions? Like I said, I keep this about an hour, went a little bit over, but I'm having fun. You guys are having fun, so it's all good. If you got any more questions, put them out there. Again, our next live stream will probably be Monday the 15th, 10 days from now. And that's because it'll be the day after our next game against the Vikings. As you see right here, you can see the upcoming dates. August 14th, this is a Sunday, and then we have Tuesday, our first cut down. This is going to be interesting. I want to see if we get anybody off the pup and they absorb one of these 85 spots. It's going to be very interesting. So, very interesting, and then we'll go from there. I'll check the dates. I like to do Fridays, but it makes more sense to come on Monday after the Sunday game. So, that'll be our next live stream, Monday, August 15th. And then we'll kind of play it from there. We'll see what's happening. So, and this is a Friday game here. So we'll go. This is a Saturday game. So we'll play it by ear. Guys, have anything else before we close this out? Again, if you are enjoying this and you're watching this, and if you're watching this on a replay, I mean, we've been on for an hour. I do appreciate you. Thank you for coming in and appreciate you coming in. Put some comments as well, not only in the chat, but if you put comments in after watching this, I respond to just about every one. The only exceptions are either those spam ones, the Russian porn or whatever the hell that comes up. I get rid of those. Or if YouTube, sometimes every once in a while, YouTube will not notify me of anybody putting comments in here, and then like 3 or 4 months later, they pop it in here. It's like, what the heck's going on? So that does happen, but I'm usually pretty diligent in responding to you. So if you have a question or whatever, put it in the comments and hit that thumbs up button. Again, if you enjoyed this, hit the likes. It helps me, helps everybody out, helps the channel out. Subscribe, do all that stuff. Hit the bell notification. Hopefully YouTube's on its game. It doesn't pull a Brandon Parker. It gives you notifications of my next live stream, which will be on the 15th. A couple more comments here. Who the hell would have thought of the idea to give Parker more money? Daniels called Ziegler at the end of the game. Like, what the hell? Again, Panda, the only reasoning I could think of is that they could use him as a swing tackle in case Colton gets hurt. That's my only logic on that, honestly. Because Illuminor could play tackle if we needed him to. They got there Munford late. So that's the only reasoning I could think of, right? New offensive line coach spoke with Kibble about Parker and decided to keep him. Oh, boy. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Panda. My first live as well. Thank you. No, thank you, James. Oh, first live, and you get the pinned comment. So if you guys have the best comment of the day, I'm going to pin it up there. So like I said, you're immortalized. Anybody watches this, they're going to see your funny comment. I appreciate that. Thank you guys very much again. And I'll see you next Monday, the 15th. And as always, go Raiders.
Something with all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the year?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.